So we're back learning GDScript from zero. This is an open source project by GDQuest.com. All right, so we're going to continue where we left off over here at using variables to make code easier to read. All right. Looks short, doesn't it? Let's go. In this lesson, we're going to make our code easier to follow and understand at a glance. Take a look at this example. So we've got func process delta rotate 4 times delta. So in the above example, what does the number 4 mean? All right. That's going to be how fast the character rotates. Probably. How far the character moves? No. How long the rotation takes? 4? No. How fast, right? Let's submit it. Yeah, there we go. All right. So even though I rehearsed this, there's still confusion. So I'm going to bring up this right here. So basically, this thing equals the delta, the little triangle, right? So like we said right here, it's the speed. It's the code above, the code above rotates the character 4 radians per second, right? So we've got 4 radians per second right here. And then delta. So we've got this 4, that's the 4. And then we've got the delta, which is seconds, right? So delta is going to be seconds. And since everything's always being divided by 1 no matter what, we can just say seconds over 1 so that they both have something over something, right? So we can see here, whenever you have like 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom like this is going to cancel out this, right? Because right here we're dividing by 1 second. We're dividing by seconds and we're multiplying by seconds on this one, right? I mean, I forgot how they explained it in math. I just remember that this happens. They cancel each other out, and then we've got 4 delta radians, all right? And so that's going to be the distance it moves, it rotates per frame. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so let's get back to it. We can guess what number represents what? We can guess what a number represents by looking at the function names, but it's harder to recall what this number does by quickly looking at the code. Okay. We've seen how different functions have their own names, right? True. Using these names communicates to developers what functions do. True. So rotate right here rotates 2 radians because we got the 2 right here. We've got move local X with 100 in here, and it's going to move horizontally 100 pixels. Move local Y negative 200 moves vertically negative 200 pixels. Whatever. You get it. As we learned in lesson 8, we can also assign labels to numbers to help us remember what they do. Pardon me. We call these labels variables. A variable is a label for a value we can save, change, and read later. Yes, very true. Let's recap how to define a variable. So we've got var variable name equals a value, right? And then we got spaces in between. I'm pretty sure this one's required, but I don't think the rest of them are. We improved the first example to make it clear what the number 4 does, all right? So we've got var angular speed equals 4, and this variable is defined outside of the function. True. So we got func process delta rotate. Now instead of 4, it just says angular speed times delta. So it's definitely referring to this just like that. And I mean, you could say maybe it's a little overkill because 4 is just one variable, right? It's just one number, right? It's a little overkill, don't you think? But at the same time, if we've got this angular speed at a lot of places, and for some reason we want to change, if we have this like things that are like 4, like in like 1,000 places in the code, let's say 1,000, fine, 1,000 places in the code, and at some point we want to change it all to 5, What are we going to do? Change it to 1,000 places? You know? Nah. We do this in the first place, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. All right, labeling a value makes the code easier for us to read. Now, okay, let me say that again. Labeling the value makes the code easier for us to read now and in the future. All right. So in the above example, which line defines the angular speed variable? Var angular speed equals 4, definitely. This is a function call, and this is a function declaration. Let's submit it. There we go. Remember when it was just this on the screen? Or this? What a joker. Where were we? All right. If we define variables outside of functions, we can reuse them in different functions. Because any function can use variables we define outside of them. We call these variables script-wide. We can also call it global scope. But I'm not gonna change that. So here we use angular speed. Pardon me. Here we use the angular speed script-wide variable in both the process function and the set angular speed function. All right. So we've got var angular speed equals 4, and this variable is defined outside of the function. We've got func process delta, and now has rotate angular speed times delta like that. And then we've got also func set angular speed, new angular speed equals angular speed. Well, no. Let me say that again. Func set angular speed with an argument, with the parameter of new angular speed. And then we've got angular speed equals whatever the new angular speed is. So it's basically this here changes what this is, all right? So we can also define variables inside. What were we even doing with that? Here we use the angular speed script-wide variable. Yes. Both in, So we use it here and here. Yeah, because it says it's script-wide or it's global scope. Since it's global scope, we can use it here and we can use it here. We can change it to this. We can change this here to this, here to this, whatever. Anyway, you get it. We can also define variables inside of functions. We align the variable assignment, We align the variable assignment by indenting it to make it part of the function body. And we're going to make sure to create the variable before using it, of course. And if we define a variable inside a function, only that function can use it. All right, so we got func process delta var angular speed equals 4. So this is local scope right here. So yeah, global scope up there, local scope right here. And then rotate angular speed times delta. So this one takes precedence over anything like this, right? So this doesn't go because this exists, all right? Since we're declaring it again and doing that here, right? Although we wouldn't really need to do that, but whatever. And then rotate angular speed times delta, all right? And then we've got func angular speed. It's just like the one up here. All right, so let's come back down. Let's do this now. So the angular speed variable only exists inside of process because we defined it there. The set angular speed function can't use it. Yeah, so this one, we're gonna play around like this still exists over here, right? So this one here is referring to this one here, but this one here, if this one existed, would be referring to this one here, all right? This one here has nothing to do with this one in here because this one is local scope and this one is referring to something that would be global scope if it was declared first. Anyway, let's go. So the angular speed variable only exists inside process because we defined it there. Yes, true. The set angular speed function can't use it. Yes, okay. I think I said that. Trying to use it there will result in an error in this one specifically. Yeah. Here's what this error might look like. The identifier angular speed isn't declared in the current scope at line 6. Why this happens? The set angular speed function can't use the angular speed variable because it isn't script wide It also isn't in the set angular speed function. And how to fix this, make sure we define the angular speed variable in the set angular speed function or define it outside of functions so it's script wide. True. All right. So where can we define variables? Select all that apply. Outside functions, of course. Inside functions, absolutely. And submit it. We're right yet again. One time I was wrong. Functions can use any variables defined outside of functions. These variables are script wide. If we define a variable inside a function, only that function can use it. True. Variables are also great at grouping values that control how a character behaves. True. Grouping them in this way allows us to easily change them. So we have a comment saying variables to control movement, horizontal speed 200, jump strength 150, gravity 90, okay? And then variables for combat. We got var health equals 40. We've got var max health, health maximum equals 80, and the rest, and you can see them, they don't really matter. But that's how they would go. Attack power 10, defense 4. In the following practice, we'll define variables and use them with some familiar functions to make our code more readable. All right. Yeah, I think I should just read it all anyway, because I mean, it's a video, so might as well hit every word, right? Make it entertaining and educational, right? Or at least try. Practices. Clarifying code using variables. So using variables to store numbers using variables to store number values makes code easier to read. We're going to tidy up this function by storing a value in a variable. All right, so let's practice. Pardon me. So here we are clarifying code using variables. So the goal is we're going to give the for here a label. The for here, this for, okay. The for here a label so we know what it does. All right, that for right there, a label so we know what it does. We're going to create a variable called angular speed outside of the process function to make it script wide. This allows us to use it in other functions too. Then we're going to replace the for with angular speed. True. All right, so let's do that. Let's drop this down 1, 2, go back to 1. We will say here var, not car, var. Angular speed, angular underscore speed now equals 4. There we go. And then we're going to double click this, copy it. We'll highlight 4, paste it, and there we go. Let's run it. Boom. It's moving. It's giving us check marks and it's telling us well done. Let's continue. All right. So now we're going to fix an out of scope error. So here's the goal. There's something wrong with the code here. Can we see what it is? Yeah, we'll see it. We'll see it. We're going to run the code and read the error, and then we'll correct the code so it works as intended. All right, let's do it. Run the code. Boom. Pardon me. Error. The identifier angular speed isn't declared in the current scope. In fixing error at line 6, column 1. Line 6, column 1 right here. All right, great. Angular speed is not declared. You know what? It is declared in here. You know what we can do? We could drop this down. We could come over here and just say home. Actually, let's say it's here. We'll just say control home. Enter, up, up. No. Down, down. And then we'll, I guess control shift over, pardon me, right. Control C, control home. And then we'll say control V. And then we'll say home, backspace. All right, cool. Good enough, right? And then we'll get rid of that other one. We'll go down to 4 and just control, actually, we can't just do control up on that one or control down on this one. So we'll do control shift over to 4 and we'll just, actually let's get to the beginning of 5 and just delete it like that. There we go. Looks good. All right, so now let's run the thing. I got to get into the practice of that. And, you know, what better time than now? Looks good. we're done with that. All right. So now we're on to conditions, and we'll see you next time.